Hello everyone. So today is May 2nd and I'm crossing the Oka River to go walking in the hills up there. That's my favorite place to walk. So sorry about all the noise in the background. This is a very busy bridge. There's like constantly cars going by. It's annoying. So yeah, my destination is the hills up there. So this river is called the Oka. It goes into the Volga. It's one of the like 5 tributaries, I think 5 or 7.
Exercise 4 kilometers
that go into the Volga.
27S.
So it goes into the Volga on this side. As you can see, maybe there's the church where, the church where I made a video the other day. And off to the right there is where the Oka River converges with the Volga River, right at the Kremlin. It's really beautiful. I think I did a video there. Yeah, I did a video of the Kremlin, sorry. So, yeah. So this river, this was a major river for one reason, because it goes into the Volga. The Volga, of course, is the longest river in Europe, and here on the Oka River is where Tatar invaders and raiders would come. They'd come up on their ships or boats up this river and raid like Russian villages and towns, and that's a main reason they built Nizhny Novgorod, to stop the Tatars from raiding on the area. So yeah, imagine like 1,000 years ago, and even more, Tatar raiders who would be coming up, or warriors also. There were many wars with Tatars coming up this very river. Ivan the Terrible also, well, he stopped at Nizhny Novgorod on the way to Kazan when his army conquered Kazan on his orders. So yeah, Ivan the Terrible probably went up the Oka River too. Actually, yeah, that I remember reading about him going up the Oka. So about 150 years ago, in like the last half of the 19th century, there used to be a gigantic like market here in Nizhny Novgorod, where people would come, merchants would come from all around the world, from Persia, from China, from Europe, of course, from England, from France, and they'd all converge on Nizhny Novgorod to sell their wares for like at a certain period during the year, for several weeks or something. So yeah, about 150 years ago, let's say, this very river that we're looking at now would be filled with merchant ships from all over the world coming to sell their goods in the Nizhny Novgorod world famous market. So Nizhny Novgorod is basically known as, it was always like a merchant town. Well, that's what it was like known as, like a place where there are a lot of merchants and where you can buy and sell anything you want. So yeah, I actually, to tell a story, like, well, when I verify the story, I'll tell. So the weather is nice today. It's like 12 degrees. It's sunny, as you can see. Some clouds, but much better than it's been. I mean, the weather is, yeah, it's great. It's a real beautiful spring day. Should be a little warmer. It is May 2nd, but it's fine. So that's why I decided to go to the hills because the weather's so nice. It's kind of windy up on the bridge, though. So what else do I know about the Oka River? Basically, the Tatar invading and raiding, and having the terrible going to Kazan from here, and adding the merchant things, yeah, where I don't know what time of year it was, but yeah, it was a very big thing. It was like known throughout the world, the Nizhny Novgorod market. That must have been really interesting. So this bridge, it's I think it's like a kilometer, or I should be before, but it seems longer actually. So it's a pretty wide river. In the summer, there are boats here all the time, sailboats and speedboats and rowboats with fishermen in them. And yeah, it's really nice. I'm always like worried when I do videos on the water from the bridge. Look at the light reflecting. Like the sun reflecting in the water. That's really cool. I'm always afraid, like, the wind is gonna blow out. It's gonna blow my phone out of my hand, and it's gonna go flying over the bridge. I'm actually stepping back further because it's getting windy, and I'm worried that my phone goes slamming into the river. Wow, that's really nice. I'm clutching my phone so tightly now. Wow, cool. There's some guy on like a little motorbike that wants to get by. So yeah, I love boats. I love everything to do with water. We grew up like by a river, and it was actually part of the river was our property, and we grew up by forest, which is part of our property. So we had like not motorboats, but like a rowboat, but with a sail, and we had a canoe that my brother and I made actually, and yes, it actually worked very well. And at one point we had a kayak. So yeah, I just love water. In New Jersey, we lived about, I would say, 40-minute drive from the ocean. So it was like normal to go to the ocean. Not just in the summer, but especially in the summer, of course. We'll like go to the ocean to go fishing at night. I remember a lot of times going to the ocean at night. Probably because, because, okay, my dad is a Russian Orthodox priest, and especially in our churches in America, like, priests are always supposed to wear their robes and everything, and they can't be seen, in normal clothes, or certainly not half naked on the beach. So my dad loves swimming, but he'd only go swimming at night, where no one could see him except his family. So we also went to the ocean at night. Oh, and one time my dad almost died in the ocean. Should I tell that story? Oh yeah, we still got a lot. So we were swimming in the ocean at night, the Atlantic Ocean, of course. And my dad is a really strong swimmer. And it was all dark and everything, and we were sitting on the beach. We were playing in the water and just got out of, we were swimming, and then we were just hanging out on the beach. But my dad was still swimming. And then he disappeared. This was in the ocean, right? Anything could have happened. And we're calling out, after a while we noticed that, wait, where is he? And so we're calling out and shouting for him, Papa, where are you, where are you? And everything. At first we thought maybe he was playing a prank on us, which he actually did play pranks sometimes. Just like teasing us or something. But then we got really worried, and we started walking up and down the beach, looking everywhere and shouting for him. And yeah, we were starting to get really worried, to the point like my mom actually thought, she told us, I think my older brothers were laughing about something, and she's like, don't laugh, your father might be dead, right? He might be drowned. She was serious. Yeah, I remember her mentioning that. And that's how serious it was. Anyway, that sounded a bad segue. Eventually we found him, and he was lying on the beach, like completely exhausted. He was okay, he was breathing and everything, but he was just like completely exhausted. He couldn't move from sheer exhaustion, huh? We're getting higher to the mountains, or the hills. And so what he said was he was just swimming normally, and then he felt what was like arms from underneath the ocean water pulling him down, right? And something was pulling him down, right? It could have been, for all he knew, an octopus or something. And he was struggling to get out of it, and then he was just getting carried and pulled further and further out in the ocean. And he's like a very strong swimmer, and he was struggling with all his might to to break out of it. So it was most likely it was a current, like a really strong current, that took him out. And yeah, and then of course he started praying. Well, he was praying all the time. He was struggling, and then I forget what prayer, but he said it was a miracle, because after saying a certain prayer, just like the current or whatever it was just released him, and all of a sudden he was free. Like that force that was dragging him further out into the ocean released him, and he was free, and he was able to swim back to shore barely, because he was so exhausted. He used up all of his strength fighting that current, and then it just released him like that. I've heard that happens in the ocean, actually. I don't think it was anything supernatural or anything that can happen in the ocean. But yeah, it was a scary experience for him and for us. We were starting to think already that my dad died. Yeah, that would have been horrible. But that didn't stop us from loving the ocean and swimming in the ocean whenever we could. And yeah, so I love water. And boats and everything to do with water. And then when I was 8 years old, I went with my dad. I'll do a separate video about that. So the Metropolitan of our church chose my dad to go with him to Australia. And he could choose one member of his family to go with him. So we put our names in a hat or something, right? And after saying a special Boliavan, we pulled the name out, and it was me. So I got to go to Australia with my dad. But the Metropolitan, he was an old man, and he didn't like flying. He never flown in his life. It was like if God meant us to fly, He would have given us wings, that kind of thing. He just thought it was a very unnatural thing to do, to fly. But going by ship was okay, because even Jesus used ships and stuff like that. Boats. So we went from Canada. Yeah, first we went to San Francisco. My dad and I flew because we had to do some work there on the cathedral, put up a mosaic that we made. And then we went to Canada with the bishop to Vancouver. And then from Vancouver, we went on a ship, the SS Oriana. And we went all the way from Canada to Australia on a ship, all across the entire Pacific Ocean. And that was awesome. I really loved it. Yeah. It took at least a month, and it was just really awesome. Yeah. When I tell people that, some of them say, "Oh, that would be boring." I go, "Oh, wow, no, it wasn't boring going across the Atlantic Ocean." So, yeah. So I've always loved water. I can't wait until swimming time. I want to maybe buy a boat, oh yeah, we used to have a rubber inflatable boat too. Oh, I have another water story. So So one time when I was a teenager, I think it was one of the last times we went to Florida. I was like maybe 15. And so we had this red inflatable boat that I used to like to sleep in when I was a little kid, actually. And me and my dad, just me and my dad, went out on the ocean, like paddling on the boat. And we kept our eye on the shore to make sure we weren't too far away from the shore, right? And we were just paddling and talking, and the waves were, at first it was hard to get behind the waves. It took us many attempts to finally get behind the waves, because the big waves were just kept throwing us back to shore. Oh, we got beyond the waves, and we kept an eye on the shore to make sure we don't get taken out into the ocean. And we were talking and having a real nice conversation. It was a really great memory. Probably my best memory of my dad during my teenager years. And all of a sudden we look around and there's no shore. And the thing is that when there's nothing but water, when you're on the ocean, there's nothing but water around you, you get disorientated. So we didn't know like what direction the shore was in, even, it seemed, right? Anyway, we kept rowing into what direction we thought the shore was for like hours, right? And we didn't know if we were going in the right direction. You would think we would just turn around and go back, which we did, but we weren't getting any closer to the shore. Yeah, we were beyond the waves, so we couldn't like follow the waves. I don't know, we basically got lost at sea, or kind of lost at sea. Well, yeah, we basically got lost at sea. And after a little while, we weren't panicking or anything, but after a long time, not a little while, after a long time, like a ship came up, like a lifeguard ship. And they took us aboard the ship, and they're like, you can't go out that far and everything. It's really dangerous. And so the ship had noticed us and rescued us. So those are my water stories. I have more, but okay, I need to get away from these freaking cars. They're driving me crazy. So, as you can see, I'm almost at the hills. Some nice green trees. There's some grass or plants growing. So this is my favorite place. I love walking here. Just in the hills, up and down the hills. Yeah, it's good. The weather's very nice. So I'm gonna do another video when I get on the hills. Well, let's just walk. So this is the bridge. Ugly buildings all around, but not on the hills. So I'm still not gonna say it's definitely spring, because I mean it snowed on April 20th, and in Moscow it snowed a week later. So in Moscow it snowed on April 27th. So yeah, I'm not gonna say it's spring yet. Nice tree. Nice trees. Cause who knows, it might snow tomorrow. But the weather forecast said no, it's supposed to be nice. So yeah, I love hills, I love mountains especially. we lived close to the mountains, close to Bear Mountain. I used to go hiking there, usually by myself, but sometimes with my friends. So, yeah. Those are stairs going up. But I usually just take the slope. It's actually, have you ever noticed that it's actually easier to climb a slope than to climb stairs if you're climbing like a lot, if you're climbing high up? And anyway, I'm intending to hike the Appalachian Trail, and I don't think there'll be any stairs on the Appalachian Trail, so I gotta get used to more hiking up slopes and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go a little further up and then go up the slope to the top of the mountain. Okay. Well, I want to show you this slope I'm going to go up to. So, yeah. So many freaking cars. Okay. I'll probably end it there. And I'll do another video from the top of the hills. Guys, this was supposed to be like a water video, Volga video, or a Waka. So, okay. Goodbye, everyone. I will see you in about 10 minutes. Not like this is live, but. So, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I don't want to stop in. Okay, let's stop on the next one. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. До свидания. Auf Wiedersehen. See you soon.